Today we're talking about how to get more out of your brainstorming. You're already probably pretty familiar with the concept, on some level at least. It's the first concept generation method we learn. You sit down and think about stuff and let your mind run wild. It's a really exciting time. But to get the most out of your brainstorming, there's a few things you should think about. Number one, big point, changed my outlook on brainstorming completely. There are no bad ideas in brainstorming. Everything is on the table. Write down those wild ideas, get them out there, even if they wouldn't work. You never know what you can pull from them. This is critical. This is the golden rule. This is something that I naturally struggle with. I'm always evaluating the feasibility of ideas. It's how I look at things. There's a time for that. That's very important. But that's down the line. For now, we're trying to draw out pure creativity. If it doesn't lead to creative results, don't do it. Especially if you're working in a group, it can be very easy to start judging and start designing. It's important to suspend judgment and technical discussion that doesn't lead to creative results. We want the maximum creativity. We're just trying to get creative ideas out there, not critique them, not design them. That's why this particular activity is really powerful. So that's the golden rule of brainstorming. There are no bad ideas in brainstorming. But how do you actually do it? Are there good strategies? How do you not get distracted? Well, fear not. A quick Google search will give you tons of different ideas, and you should try them out and see what works for you. What works for one person may not be best for the other. And a lot of different people do brainstorming, like writers, musicians, artists, graphic designers. What works for them can work for us too. The goals are the same, to get creative ideas out there and on the table. But here are a few things that have worked for me, I've seen and I've done, and these are some things that I fall back on. Number one of my favorites is to just pose a question. How might we do this? What if this particular thing was the case? What if we could change some factor? What if we had to rely on this particular thing? These are really interesting questions and can help you start discussion where there was none and help you look at a problem from a different lens. It forces you to ask a different question and answer a different question in your mind than you might if you were just sitting and thinking about a particular idea that you had had. So that's really cool, and this is one thing that one of my first steps whenever I'm trying to brainstorm. The second big thing is concept maps. This is great for big picture ideas where you have a lot of different connections between different ideas and different things. You can do it pretty much however you want. It has a lot of different names. Or you can do a word cloud, a word map, a concept map. The big thing is to show on paper your thoughts and show some relationships between those thoughts. That's what this is really good at doing. Diagramming out how things are related and making new connections that you wouldn't have without seeing it on paper. So this is a really powerful tool if you're really looking at high-level things, big ideas, and aspects of big ideas. Helps you really understand that well. The third big one is rapid ideation, and this one is great if you really tend to get hung up on an idea. This doesn't let you do that because you're timed. So one way you can do this is by having one person work on a sketch of an idea and then pass it around, and then another person builds on that, and then another person builds on that, and at the end you can kind of compare where it started and what ideas were mashed together by people. You can also do this individually where you just have a sticky note and you're writing out a certain idea. You have 1 or 2 minutes to flesh that idea out, put it on the wall, and then you move on. This doesn't let you get hung up and start designing that idea and start making that idea perfect right now. It's very tempting to do that. Rapid ideation doesn't let you do that, and it really helps you crank out a lot of different ideas. Some of them will be really cool and you'll be really excited about them. Some of them won't. But that's kind of the point of brainstorming, is to get a lot of these different ideas out there and really stretch our minds and be more creative with these different ideas. If you have great ideas and you want to try out some of these things, or you just want more questions to be asked or answers to questions, leveraging community is a huge deal. There's a lot of really smart people out there who are working on a lot of really cool things. So connect with them online, in person, however you want. There's tons of great resources, so just look around. And shameless plug, check out our community, which you can find on Facebook or on our website for details. But feel free to pose questions, ideas, thoughts, anything that you want feedback on. That can be a great place to get a lot of minds working towards the same goal. And those shared experiences are a wealth of information and ideas, especially when we're being very creative. So leverage that community and absolutely check out ours. So remember the first golden rule of brainstorming. There are no bad ideas in brainstorming. And use one of these methods, try it out, see if it works for you, see what works for you, and let us know in the comments below. What is your favorite brainstorming technique? These things, I think, will help you get a lot more out of the brainstorming activity as a whole. rather than just sitting down and thinking and spinning your wheels sometimes. Next time, we get out the red pens, start judging these ideas, and picking out ideas that you think can be real winners.